Hey there, Cosmic Warriors, and welcome to this live reading session. Okay, so we're doing this on a Sunday. This is the first time I have ever done this, I believe, on a Sunday. So we're going to test it out, see who wants to get involved, if you're interested in a live reading today. So just to introduce myself, if you're new around here, my name is Hannah. I'm a Western Practical Astrologer. And I like to do some live readings from time to time. Now, I also just want to inform you, especially if you are, you're a returning subscriber, a returning viewer, just some very exciting news, which I did announce over during the Gemini season horoscopes video. But I have started my own podcast. Is called the Cosmic Check-In podcast. There are 2 episodes up. One of them is actually my astrology story. And then the first one is just really a bit of an intro, right? An introduction to the Cosmic Check-In podcast. I hope you can join. I hope you can tune in. It would be great for you to give it a listen. Hello, welcome. Hello to you, Lisa. Now, so let's just discuss quickly how this works. If you're new here, how does this work? So the instructions are in the description. And so what you do is you send over, so it's $25 per question. So if you want to ask me about your chart, if you want me to read your chart, it is $25. That is the set price. So you basically go to the link in the description and you send through the money there. And you need to include, this is very important, especially if you want your information kept private, you need to include your date of birth, your time of birth, and your place of birth. Also, place your name there if you, of course, you want to share your name. And if you do have any questions, just let me know if you do. Now, we do have 2 people who are currently in the queue. We've got B. I hope I am pronouncing your name correctly. So we've got B. And then we also have Olivia. Olivia, I believe I've done a reading for you before. So Olivia, welcome back to you. Thank you. And if B is in the audience, I would just like to ask B a quick question. It says here the time, and I'm assuming the way the time is written that it's AM. That's a big thing as well. You need to be very clear. Is it AM or is it PM, right? Yeah, but I'm assuming that it's AM given how the digits have been placed there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off by looking at B's chart and answering your question. Okay, so all right. So I'm going to display your chart on the screen. Yes. Hello, Olivia. Welcome. Good for you to join. Thank you. All right. So B, here is your chart, and you did ask me. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to read through your question and just give me a moment, and then I will reflect and I will give you an answer. And hopefully you do find this reading to be helpful. All right. So your question: what approaches and avenues would be best for me to create an abundant source of income? Radio. So I'm going to just make this screen bigger. Hello everyone, thank you for tuning in. Hi. So the instructions are in the description. I need your time of birth, place of birth, date of birth, but you arrange it via PayPal. Okay, the link is right there. It's $25 per reading, all that good stuff. Okay, so I'm just going to enlarge this so I can take a closer look. Okay, so babe, you want to know, let me just go over the question again, just get it up. Approaches and avenues which would be best for you to create an abundant source of income. Approaches and avenues. Right. So we want to think about, I would say, of course, we want to think about the second house. Okay, so we're talking about income here because the second house can show up as how we earn money, how we make a living. And what I find actually quite interesting about your situation is that the secondary progressed sun, it is at 0 degrees of Leo, right? So the thing about the second house is we want to search for the ruler of that house, and that is the sun. So so the natal sun, that is in Cancer, and it's right there with Mercury. It's right there with Mercury. So let me just count the minutes there: 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so you were actually born during a Mercury Kasimi, which is pretty fascinating. Suggesting what? Suggesting that you are full of creative ideas, but these creative ideas are more so tied to your emotional security, right? What you need in order to feel safe and secure. I mean, you're Cancerian there, so the sun being in Cancer as well as Mercury too, plus having a Cancer rising and then Venus as well. It's safe to say, B, that you're someone who certainly you care deeply about your emotional security, and so your aims and your goals and your ambitions are going to align with those things, right? These are very much tied to your purpose, your life journey, and everything. But you see, what we want to think about, which, by the way, I would say you're highly tenacious, very determined, very good at business. I mean, Cancerians typically are very, very good when it comes to business. You think about that emotional support, that emotional empathy, and that connection. Those types of things are really necessary when it comes to business, right? So, what I was trying to say there is the secondary progressed sun, that's 0 degrees of Leo. And like I said, the sun rules that second house for you. So this to me is actually suggesting a new chapter. This new chapter that is being ushered in for you to do with your income and your resources. But I think a lot of this has to do with confidence. I think a lot of this has to do with self-assurance as well. And here's the other thing I want to mention. We got to think about this in a deeper sense, right? So we can kind of maybe go to, all right, so this is a plan of A to B. This is how you can make money, da 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 da. But there are deeper themes, right? There tends to be, when it comes to how we earn, how we make a living, there can be these inner blocks, and there can be these inner sort of miscommunications that exist within the body. So you have Venus there, and it's in Cancer, and it's actually opposing Neptune retrograde in Capricorn. And we want to think about the seventh house in Capricorn. This is interesting because what the Capricorn energy in the seventh house is suggesting is that, well, seventh house is very much business deals, business partnerships, right? Capricorn there suggests to me that you can be very mature and wise when it comes to these matters. And you really have, throughout your life, you've grown a lot. Now, of course, you have not went through your first Saturn return, so there's more to this story, of course, but there's always room for growth in this way. But still, I would say that you care strongly about, responsibility, holding yourself accountable within these business partnerships. However, Neptune is there, right? Neptune can be quite slippery. Neptune can actually suggest, and I hope I'm not, going too into this on you, B, but I'm just being honest with what I see. Neptune here can suggest trickery. It can suggest uh, disillusionment, deception, especially with that opposition to Venus. But you see, whilst yes, okay, it could be that there are these visible, very valid deceptions, from bosses and managers and how they treat you and lack of boundaries and everything else. And maybe that's a thing to do with your question, right? That's maybe something to consider. But you see, this is also about your internal world. This is also about how you feel from within, and this is about your inner security and how you protect that. So I can't help but think that it's almost as if the secondary progressed sun moving into Leo as this whole new chapter for you, which is going to be about 30 years or so, that is really going to usher in this protection, this fierceness, this real self-assurance, this confidence. And we notice this as well, that you've been there. You've been trying to support yourself in this way, given the fact that the secondary progress ascendant, Mercury, and Venus are all there in Leo as well. This energy opposite Neptune can perhaps indicate the kind of the uncertainty and the confusion linked to your self-worth. And maybe that is something to consider in terms of, okay, feeling that kind of worthiness, if you will, feeling the ability to attract, that abundance to you and that prosperity to you. So there are those things. But I also just want to mention that, yes, at the same time, as I was trying to mention, there can be very valid, vivid, like evident reasons too. And then what I further just want to say, just to kind of finish off here, is we want to think about even Jupiter, right? So you have a day chart. And so Jupiter is a very rewarding, pleasing planet. Jupiter is retrograde, and Jupiter retrograde is really about inner belief, right? It's having that self-belief and that ability to go within and to really reflect and think, do I believe in myself? Do I believe that, I can obtain the things that I wish to succeed in my life? It's these kind of questions, but I think these questions are also tied to that of other people's resources, sharing, right? The investments, all the 8th house stuff, managing other people's money. I do see this as you being actually quite successful, and perhaps even having your head screwed on, right? With that Aquarian energy, being very intellectual and smart about things. So I do see these potentialities for you. But again, I just think that there's there are deeper themes here. And then even just to finish this off, I mean, that secondary progressed midheaven is also, that is in Taurus. And then you got to think about Venus, and you've got Venus in Cancer. So it kind of circles back to those deceptive tendencies and those feelings of worthiness there. Okay, so I hope, let me see. If I stop sharing my screen. So that was for you, B. Now, if you're in the audience, as I say, with your time of birth, the way the digits were inserted, I really hope it was AM. You just let me know if anything's off. I'm always happy enough to refund people if there's any issues, okay? That's how that works. All right, so we're going to move on to Olivia now. Now, I just want to check here. Let me see. There's no option to send the birth information. No? Because it's worked for, it has worked for other people. People have been able to insert. There's a note section there. Yes, thank you. There we go. Yep. The audience is helping you out. Thank you for helping. Yes, there's the little note section. Okay, great. So just a reminder, oh, it was AM. Oh, yay, I'm so glad. Good. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm glad that you were able to attend. Oh, I'm so happy. Okay. Great. Right. Let's see. I have gotten a couple of others who have sent through. Okay, Lisa, you have booked. Now I'm just going to scroll up. It takes forever. Why is this taking so long to scroll up to the top, please? Okay, so Lisa, you have booked. Thank you. But what you're going to do, okay, you have placed. Okay, so that's B. Olivia is next. And then we have Lisa. and I am just taking down your details quickly. Quick question for you, Lisa. Is that the 12th of February? I gotta be really clear about that, because with birthdays, is it just the USA that does it the other way, where it's the month first and then the day? Anyway, so 6:30 p.m. That's in Bruges, and that's in Belgium. I have been to Bruges, by the way. It was hot when I went, like so hot, but it was a nice trip, I must say. Bruges, beautiful pastries, great coffee shops, nice nice places to look at, nice buildings to look at. Okay, so your question, I'm just writing it down. And I also just want to say that these are quick readings. They're not going to be super detailed. They're not going to be super thorough, right? This is quick, boom, off the cuff. Like, this is what I see, boom, and if you then would like a full reading from me, then you can go to my website, hannahselsewhere.com. Let's just say this is kind of like this is sort of like a taster of what you can expect, but of course, I'm always willing to go way deeper with my clients, and I hope that that does come across. Okay, so I've got your question there, Lisa. Great. Da, 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 da. Okay, Olivia, Lisa. Let me go back over here. Okay, great. Right. We have, okay. Yeah, birthday. Yes, I've got that for the next client, but that's yeah, keep that one private. And let me go down. Just reading through. Hello, Jocelyn. Welcome. Hi. Welcome. And is Clara in the audience, please? In the meantime, I'm going to get yours ready, Olivia. Because if Clara is in the audience, I need your birth information. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, perfect. And then if I save this one, and then I'm gonna look over again at your messages. Okay, let's see, Clara. Brilliant, thank you. Let's have a look. Let's jot yours down. Right, so we have Olivia's next, then we've got Lisa. Perfect, thank you, Lisa, for confirming. And then we have, yep, well, private. We'll say private. And then we have Clara after. And so for you, the 1st of December 1969, 9 hours 27. Is that 9 a.m.? Is that 9 a.m.? And thank you, Clara. Thank you so much. It's very nice of you. I'm glad. Yeah, is that 9 a.m., Clara? Yeah, got your location. Great, 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 great. Yes, and as I say, Clara, is that 9:27 a.m.? Let me see. We have another. Ba-dum bum bum ba-dum. Let's go here. Yep. Perfect. Okay. Thank you to Honey York. Got ya. Yes, it's Mother's Day. Is it in I'm just Clara. It's my internet. AM. Thank you. Yes, perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Okay. So yes, is it Mother's Day in the USA today? Or I'm not sure. Does that also apply to Canada? Oh, okay. Hopefully we're okay. We're back again. Thank you. Sorry about that. Okay. Right. So Olivia, your question. In the USA. Okay. Well, here we go. Let's see. Oh, it's in Italy as well? Oh, interesting. Interesting. I didn't know that. Okay, so Olivia, here we have your chart. So your question, your North Node is in Scorpio. It's in the 6th. Okay, so there's difficulty in sticking to a routine. Every day is different. Yep. Routine. Establishing routine. Okay. All right, so the first thing that really jumps out at me about this is the thing with Scorpio energy is it can't be all or nothing, right? Scorpio can go to extremes. So what can often happen then when it comes to wherever Scorpio is within the chart is it's going to showcase those extremes where you can be all or nothing, very black and white, sort of all consuming. So what I'm sort of hearing here is that, there's a lot there. And you're saying, you want to establish a routine that supports your health. And so, of course, with that, maybe there's something here about the amount of pressure. This is what I'm getting from this. Is it possible that perhaps there's just a lot that you add onto your plate, right? Because you said that you struggle with sticking to a daily routine. And yes, every day is different, several curveballs and everything. But I wonder, is it that you can go to extremes in this way, or you can maybe be a bit of an overachiever? Now, with that, we do want to think about Mars, right? Because Mars is the dispositor of the North Node and it's the ruler of your 6th house. Well, the traditional ruler. Mars is in Leo and it's retrograde. And even the second I progressed, Mars is still retrograde. So the way I view this is You possess a lot of passion. That is very clear, right? There's a lot of passion and a lot of drive here present when it comes to you. But maybe it's that it's almost like you can find it difficult to recognize when you overdo it, whenever you overextend that energy, or whenever maybe you're feeling burnt out. I do wonder as well, let's play around with this. Let's think about this deeper. Is it that there's something about recognition here, right? Feeling like you really need to push to like prove yourself, to show that, hey, I can do this and I'm capable, I'm more than capable, right? And I do wonder, how much of this stuff that you communicate, how much of that is that sort of, and I say this with love and kindness, how much of that is sort of self-imposed, you know, maybe because it's like you feel quite strongly that, you must, right? You must succeed, you must show the world, right? You must get that recognition. But here's the thing about it. You have all of that Aquarius energy opposite, right? So, in fact, Sun and Mars are opposite by sign. Even Mercury is their opposite by sign to Mars, and Mercury's retrograde. So, I think there's just something here about maybe feeling a bit disconnected from yourself, or finding it difficult to really assess, whenever enough is enough. So maybe some of this is trying to unravel these parts of yourself. And I do also wonder, I'm curious, is it that you have went through, or have experienced certain health scares, or, maybe crisis points? I do wonder as well, maybe even a few years ago, if these matters really start to come up for you. During the eclipses, right? There were eclipses in your sixth and 12th house, and that would have been a couple of, so 1 or 2 years ago. So there is that. And what I also want to mention then is Pluto. So Pluto is the the modern day ruler of Scorpio. So another dispositor of the North Node, Pluto is right there in the seventh house, 0 degrees. So we see here then how um, you have this strong, like, basically what I'm trying to say is you want your independence. It's so fascinating. You said about being a freelancer, right? You want to make your own money. You don't want to have to like explain yourself to certain bosses or managers or what have you. I see this as you being very independent, and especially financially independent. We further see this with Venus, right? So Venus is also in the seventh house. But the thing about this is, well, maybe you can go too far, right? You can be overly ambitious, or maybe you can sort of spread yourself way too wide, right? Where it's like you're doing all the things, you're making all the calls, you're, going here, there, and everywhere. But you see that Mars retrograde energy in Leo is like, I can't keep up with this. So perhaps there's just something here about, well, bringing more awareness to the body, right? The way I kind of even look at it is Mars is so much about our body, right? How we connect in with our energy levels. And when are we done, right? When are we just burnt out? And so maybe for you, it's trying to find that balance, right? It's maybe even trying to bring some of that Aquarian energy to step outside of yourself in a way, or to kind of observe a little bit. And what I mean by this is to sort of to be able to maybe like not attach so heavily to success and ambition and achievement, and to maybe to be somewhat more objective, right? And hey, do you know what I'm also going to say about this is whenever what I also feel about this is it's the words that you say. It's that internal voice that's happening at the same time with Mercury retrograde. It's like, how are you speaking to yourself? Are you speaking kindly to yourself? Are you supporting yourself? And just even to finish this off, you see, what we notice is that the Sun Mercury retrograde energy, they are creating the sextiles to Jupiter. So there's something about Jupiter here. And here's the fascinating thing. You have a day chart, right? So the sun is above the horizon. Jupiter then is going to be that more pleasing, sort of rewarding area. So Jupiter here is that supportive influence, I think. And it's saying, do you know what? You are more than capable, Olivia. You've got this. You know, it something, just to finish this off, seventh house area, you may at times feel like you need other people to reflect to you, like, good job, that encouragement. And yes, maybe there is a big part of this with that validation. And we can see this as well with Venus in the seventh house. But the thing to keep in mind is how that comes from within. That is so important. And maybe a bit of you having the moon in Pisces. Of course, moon is making a square to Venus as well. That moon in Pisces energy is sort of highlighting that presence, right? Even Jupiter is one of the dispositors of the moon, right? So it's that awareness of, how am I speaking to myself? Can I recognize that actually I've done more than enough and I'm more than capable? Can I maybe even take my foot off the pedal a little bit? Right? Because I think a lot of this comes back to this Mars energy in Leo. So it's that sort of view of building that solid recognition from within. Okay. Okay, are we good? Stop sharing. Are we good? I didn't freeze. Are we good? Olivia, are you there? Are you there? I hope that was helpful. I really do. Okay. So we've got Jackie. Thank you for being here. Let me just read through the information that we've got all of your information successfully. Boom, boom. Awesome. Perfect. That's what we want, right? That's what we want. Beautiful. Okay. So if I just go there. Olivia, I really do hope that you find that to be helpful. Oh, these readings, I'm like, come on, we're going within. Let's take people to within. Is this going to be a theme? All right. Okay, so Lisa, I'm going to enter your information. Oh, hyper independence. Oh gosh. Wow. Olivia, thank you so much for your feedback. Wow. Thank you for sharing. And thank you for booking. Oh, wow. Okay. So, Lisa. If I get your information. Okay. Okay. Just having some water quickly. I gotta say, it is so warm. It's so warm. I'm trying not to complain, right? I'm trying not to complain. But yes, it's very warm. Oh, let me have a look here quickly. Yes. Hi. Ren. Hi. Hello. Okay, we've got other members joining. Okay, so live readings, instructions are in the description. There is the PayPal link. I just need your time of birth, date of birth, place of birth, and of course your name if you want to include that, and a question if you have a question. And hello to Rodrigo. Yes. I No, I'm not complaining. I swear, I'm not complaining. It's just an observation, okay? It's just a fact. It's warm. I'm soaking it up, right? I'm soaking it in. I'm enjoying it, actually. I am. All right, so Lisa, let me just present your chart. Go here. Right, here we go. Question. Okay, so your question, Lisa. What should you be focusing on in your love relationships? What will make a relationship work? All right, I just want to get a couple of different techniques to help me out with this one, okay? So give me just a moment. It sounds so serious, doesn't it? It's like, I need to get my... Oh, jeez. Okay. Okay. Oh, well, very interesting. Here we go. So, Lisa, you turned 40 this year, right? Let me just double check my digits here. Yep. Yeah. So you turned 40 this year. Okay. Your birthday was in February. Now, with you being 40, this means that the fifth house is activated strongly in your chart. Fifth house. What is the fifth house? The fifth house rules romantic relationships, right? It can tell us about love. When we look to your chart, we notice that you have Venus, Neptune, and Jupiter all in Capricorn in the fifth. So let's explore this a little bit, especially Venus, right? Because Venus then also is about love. It's about attraction. It's about beauty. It's about what we desire. So for you, you're someone who deeply values commitment, maturity, and partners taking accountability for their actions, okay? And perhaps throughout your life, you have experienced partners who have not, okay? They have not. Why am I saying this? Because Venus is making that trine to Chiron. Okay, so there's this Chiron influence here, perhaps even suggesting some not so nice feelings or experiences between you and partners, maybe over success, over career stuff, status stuff, right? I mean, the midheaven is also up there. And then Chiron is also within that Saturn decan in Taurus. And even just with that, the trine itself, there just seems to be those challenges, right? Those blockages to do with status. And so I think for you, a big part of what this year is going to bring up, it's like, okay, how much have you healed? How much have you grown? How have you matured when it comes to your sort of approach toward relationships? Especially when we think about Neptune, right? Here's the thing. You've got Pisces in the seventh house. The seventh house is also this house where, okay, it's literally across from the ascendant, and it's sort of saying, okay, whenever I look out at the world, what type of relationships do I attract into my life, and who do I even unconsciously go seeking? you've got Jupiter and Neptune, which are both of the rulers of your 7th house, right there in the 5th. So what I kind of get from this is that you tend to attract partners into your life who they can maybe cross boundaries. They can perhaps be quite demanding or authoritative. Jupiter, of course, is in its fall there in Capricorn. So there could be some resistance in this way. But then there's also that resistance in terms of, oh, well, it's, yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's whatever, just giving people the benefit of the doubt. So basically, we're noticing then this sort of build up, if you will, right? The experiences of your relationships, how things have sort of played out throughout your life, and even the self-sacrificing and the deception and stuff like this. But we want to think about how this year, okay, so we come back around here to this fifth house area. We want to think about Saturn. So where is Saturn in the chart? Because Saturn is going to give us some information. Oh my gosh. Oh, okay. Stay with me. I'm just getting excited because this is like, wow. Okay. So Saturn is in Pisces right now, and it entered Pisces March last year and will continue to be there for the next couple of years, right? So Saturn is currently transiting your 7th house. You've also got your secondary progress Venus there in Pisces, which is exalted. Oh my goodness. This to me is quite beautiful in a way, because this is sort of saying you're going to take all of the spiritual sort of emotional lessons that you have learned about the trials and errors and tribulations to do with romance and love and everything. And it's almost as if you're going to attract partners who actually are mature, they are reasonable, they're responsible, they are even quite disciplined in terms of being compassionate, right? There's that consistent compassion. But then Saturn will eventually, I want to check the degrees quickly of Saturn in the sky, because, let me see, your secondary progress Venus is 11. Yeah, it's already past that. So we are noticing then a bit of a turning point for you. We're noticing that, when it comes to what will work for you in terms of relationships, is you're seeking that commitment, you're seeking that discipline, relationships where there is that genuine love and that feeling of connection. You're in this state of seeking that connection and that spiritual bond more so. So I think this is something that's going to continue throughout the next couple of years as Saturn continues, through Pisces. We're actually going to have a Saturn retrograde. That's going to be around the summer, up until about November time-ish, okay? So there's a few months coming up here where you're going to have the opportunity to do some reviewing, right? Reassess, okay, where are you in terms of relationships? And especially considering, the long haul. What do you want long term? And it's more about going within with all of this, right? Pisces is such a sign that goes, hey, go within. How are you feeling? How are you connecting with self? And then even on that note, because the 5th house is being activated, we're going to see these significant changes. So it's about giving it time, I will say that. But I think essentially, in terms of, you said about focusing on in terms of love relationships, what will make a relationship work for you. Hey, it's really, I think what it comes down to is knowing your worth, knowing as well how much you have grown, what you have outgrown in terms of relationships, right? Which parts of yourself, and how have you matured. Seek that spiritual wisdom and draw from that. Okay. Are we good? Are we good, Lisa? Just with internet. Are we good? Internet. Okay, let me just run through. So we have a few more coming in. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. Right, so we have next. Yep, private. Then we have Clara. Then we have, yes, we've got Honey York. Lovely. We have Jackie. Lovely. Thank you. Then we have, let me have a look. Excuse me. Now, pronunciations of names. If I do mispronounce names, I do apologize. Is it Zareen? Is it Zareen? Because we have you booked in. And then we have Roxana. Okay. Okay, lovely. Now, let me just read through my comments again. Lisa, okay, you said it resonates a lot. Okay, great. Thank you so much for booking. I hope that you got the most from this reading today. Now, just before we move on to the next question, the next reading, of course, these are quick readings, right? If you do wish to book, longer readings with me, then you can visit my website, hannahselsewhere.com. Hello. Yes. So you said Sarin? No, Sarine? I'm sorry if I do apologize. If I am mispronouncing. Okay, so private reading. Let's get your information. Oh, we have another. We have Crystal who's booked. Thank you, Crystal. All right. And then check over. Is there a way to be notified? No. Ran. Okay. Ran. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. And so there is no way to be notified, but what I will say is the reading will be here. Right? So if you miss it, the reading will be here. I'm typically here between 2 to 3 hours. And then you can get the reading. You'll be able to watch along. Okay. Okay. So let's find yours. Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay. Yep. Da-da-da. Double check. Okay. You've got yours. Go. Yep. Second, third. All right. Got it. Radio. Sure. Oh, I forgot to stop sharing the chart. There we go. Hi, Danielle. Hi. Yes. So the instructions are in the description. Roxana. Let me see. Yeah, so I've got next client has been booked. We've got Clara. Yep, got your information. Honey York. We have your information there. Yep, beautiful. We have Jackie. Got your information. Lovely. Ren, we've got your information. Fabulous. Thank you. Roxana, okay, sure. Right. So let me just grab that. And Crystal, I just want to double check yours. We got everything for you. Okay, we've got yours successfully. Right, Roxana, let's have a look. Just want to make sure that I get all your info. If I scroll up. Let's see. Yep. Okay, astrology. Ooh. Okay. Okay, Roxana, I've got yours successfully then as well. Right, so let's move on. Let's look at this private. Oh, wow. Oh, thank you, sorry, very much. Is it Edyard? Thank you. Nice. Thank you for your support. Yes, Honey York. Thanks. Okay. All right, so I'm going to share my screen again. So this is for the private member. Okay, so question. Jupiter is going to be transiting your 11th house in Gemini. Okay, launching a social media channel. Between the dates of, okay, end of May, July, okay. So basically July time, right? Which date? Okay, great. Okay, great question. You're open to suggestions. Right, okay, nice. So we want to think about the astrology around that time. And if I just go through my transits a moment to help me, then we'll grasp the bigger picture of this. So June, July time. Let's grab that. Let's see. I'm just looking through transits at the moment. Ooh. Oh my goodness. Okay. Wow. Right. Here. Private member. Here's the thing. Very interesting. We have some pretty huge shifts coming up, right? So we have, as you were rightfully saying, we've got Jupiter entering Gemini, right? So that's going to be on the 25th of May. Now, what is going to follow from this are some pretty exciting things. June 4th is going to be quite a dynamic day, especially when it comes to anything media related, right? So fascinating. You have this 11th house in Gemini. Let's think about the 11th house. The 11th house can pertain to fame, it can pertain to popularity, communities, groups. And how fascinating, you're saying you're launching a social media channel during that transit. And what a delicious time to do it. What a delicious time to do it. How the stars are aligning for you. So fascinating. But you see, you did say about those dates, right? End of May, June, July. Here's the thing. We've got the Venus Cassimi happening on the 4th of June. 3rd, 4th of June. You know what? Let me just make sure. I have it written here. Just want to get that date exact for you because we want to make it right. We want to make it potent. We want to get it just right. Go here. Venus Cassimi. Sun and Venus. There we go. Okay. So yeah, 4th of June is a great day. We also have Mercury in Gemini conjunct Jupiter. So we think here about how Mercury is very important in this way in terms of social media, communicating, delivering information. Jupiter then is that expansion. Jupiter is so much about broadcasting, publishing as well. So yeah, I would say that those dates, right, 3rd, 4th of June, about that time period, that could be very exciting. Very exciting indeed. Even with Venus is so much about money, earnings, this type of stuff. So that could be quite like exciting in that way too. And the other thing as well is Mercury is it's the ruler of your second house, right? So you've got Virgo in the second house. We think about the second house in terms of how we earn money. So Mercury will be conjunct Jupiter around that date. So yes, that could very well suggest things just expanding and really taking off for you and having perhaps like a pretty rewarding, pleasing experience with it all. If I even just look over 4th of June, yeah. Sun, Venus, 4th of June, yeah. Mercury, Jupiter, yeah. Indeed. How exciting. And here's the other thing I even want to say for you is Mars is going to enter Taurus on the 9th of June. So I want you to maybe think of it like this. Jupiter has been transiting your 10th house for the past year. And so what we're noticing then is that growth, right? It's that growth when it comes to your ambitions, success, establishing yourself in the world, and how those things are related to consistency and stability. But then Jupiter is going to move, right? It's going to be on the move. And then Mars is going to come from the 9th of June, following that path after those big transitions with Jupiter and Uranus and everything, with that conjunction that we experienced. So Mars could be quite a fascinating one, because Mars could maybe suggest that whilst you launch, right, there's that potential launch at the beginning of June, the Mars influence is maybe going to help sort of support you in being consistent, or just following along and going, right, okay, what are the next practical steps I can take here? And let me just look over a couple of other things. If I see anything else, just give me a moment. But how fascinating. My goodness, how fascinating. I mean, here's the other thing about it. Pluto is retrograde during that time period. No other planets are retrograde. And I mean as in personal planets, right? There's no personal planets would be retrograde at that time either. And let me see. Night. And you have a night chart. Let me just go back onto my screen. I hope I'm not freezing. Let me see. Yeah, I hope I'm not freezing. Okay. You have a night chart. So that means that Venus is going to suggest a more sort of rewarding experience. The Venus Cassimi. Yeah. Of course, I'm not here to say, I just want to confirm to this private viewer, this is not for me to tell you what to do, right? You must launch your social media on this day. It's not what I'm here to do. But you did ask, you're open to, you said you're open to suggestions, and this is merely a suggestion. It's just what I see, especially with the Venus Cassimi coming into it. Because that energy could be very potent in terms of attraction, beauty, finances. And then when we also consider, again, with you having a night chart, Venus can be that more pleasing, rewarding planet for you, that benefic for you. The other benefic, Jupiter, that conjunction to Mercury as well, which, of course, Mercury is then the ruler of your second house. Yeah, so very, very interesting. Now, just finally, I want to say that conjunction between Mercury and Jupiter, it will also trine Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. So in that way, the thing is that trine could perhaps suggest maybe some fears, like fears of, oh, well, what if this happens? What if that happens? Maybe there can even be some resistance to change slightly, or perhaps there can be fears of how you're perceived, like the feedback that you receive from your audience, from others. But I just want to say this, like, this is just my own sort of opinion on this. Is there really there's of course certain time periods that can help us, but trying to get like the most perfect time, essentially what I'm trying to get to is, it's also about how you feel, and it's also about you being able to like go within and to really reflect and think, am I ready? Like, am I ready? Do I want to do this? How do I feel about this? So I do also just want to make that point very clear for you. All right. Oh, very, very exciting. Very exciting. Right. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Yes, the 4th of June. Oh, Venus kissing me. All right. Moving on to Clara. Oh, we also, wait. Let me scroll up. Oh, amazing. We have, is it Adrien? Adrien? I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. But yes, you have booked as well. Thank you. I have got your information here. I am taking it down. Okay, so I'm assuming that is AM. major transits, May or June. Okay, to watch out for. So much change in all spheres of life, whatever jumps. Okay, perfect. So major transits, May or June. Right, so here is the thing. I can take one more reading, and then once that is booked, that's everybody for today. And then I'm going to work through the rest. But in the meantime, I'm going to enter Clara's information. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. Thank you. Right. Let's see. If the person who sent in the private, you were saying the private reading previously about, with launching social media, here's just even a little tip for it. Even if you can try to launch the social media platform at a certain time to maybe align it with having that Gemini stellium in the 10th house, that could be perhaps really powerful, right? So what, it would have a Virgo rising, maybe? That's just a tip. You don't have to do that, obviously. You could even try having a Gemini rising. That could be an option. Even the Sagittarius rising. The Sagittarius rising with the Gemini in the 7th house with Jupiter as a part of that, the chart ruler. Just saying. Just saying. Okay, so Clara. Let me see. P. Let me have a look. P. Okay. I see that. Okay. Yes, right. Okay, so time. Okay, perfect. Okay, let's get my. Right. So, Clara, let's just show your chart. I'm just going to scroll down quickly. Yep. Oh, awesome, Danielle. Thank you. Yay. That's great. Ren, thank you so much. Oh, awesome. Adrien. So, choose peace, love, and happiness. We've got room for one more. It could be you. It could be going once, going twice, sold. No, we've got room for one more. Yes, Claudia, there's room for one more. And then after that, that will be us booked for this session. Do we like Sundays? Is Sunday a good day? But yes. So if I So that's 7. 7th. Right. Got it. If I show my screen. Hello, Bruno. Welcome to you. All right. So, Clara, I'm just gonna go through. I try and get this to go up. Come on, work for me. Work for me. Okay, so you want to know, Clara, what do I see for the next month regarding your work as a healer? All right. So the next few months, let's have a look. Just give me a moment and I will look through this. Sun. Okay. Jupiter. Oh, yeah. All right. So a few things are jumping out at me for you, Clara. Right. So the first thing is you've got Sun and Mercury both in Sagittarius in the 12th house, right? So the 12th house is a deeply spiritual house. And it's so interesting, you said about healing work, right? So the 12th house can often pertain to that, right, of healers. We also see this with you having Moon in Leo in the 8th house. It's that perhaps even your healing work involves, the inner child or awakening parts of the self that are playful and fun, or, maybe getting people to connect with their playful, more spontaneous side, where that could be a thing. But then, of course, with the Sagittarius influence in the 12th, right, there's so much wisdom and knowledge in what you do. And I'm sure you have amazing credentials, right? And you have studied extensively. And even with that Capricorn rising, right, you are very consistent and determined as a person. Saturn, the chart ruler, I mean, that is in Taurus as well. So there really is this focus that you possess, this holding supportive quality that you bring. Maybe even this healing work is somehow tied to pleasure or the resistance to pleasure, possibly. But here's the thing. We notice that there's all of this Taurus energy that is like at the end, right? There's the Taurus planets at the end of the sign, and they are essentially, and they have been opposing Venus and Neptune, which Venus and Neptune are also big indicators of this healing experience, but going way deeper with it, awakening people's unconscious, right? Making isn't really the best word, but helping them, assisting others to see their unconscious, right? To see their fears, to look within. Now, that energy is making that square to the moon as well. So there could be some resistance, and perhaps even for you energetically, you've had to really learn how to kind of separate yourself a lot from, certain like energies and stuff that you pick up on, like, because you can get really, overwhelmed energetically speaking, deeply so, extremely so, right, with that Scorpio influence. So the opposition to Taurus, I feel, that has reminded you so much about the importance of grounding yourself. Also, the importance of taking time for you. The way I kind of even see this a bit here, Clara, and I hope I'm not, going too sort of personal into this, but the way I view this is all of that influence and the energies up above the horizon. You're such an influential person for other people. the Taurus energy over the past like year or so has been such an awakening thing for you to kind of see, you know, what about me? What do I need, right? What are my pleasures? What are my desires? It's sort of like being able to step back a little bit and to be able to put yourself first at times, to even be able to experience greater joy and aliveness as well, because maybe you're so used to kind of being there to support your clients and other people. Right. So, what is up ahead then? Jupiter is going to enter Gemini 25th of May, and we're going to notice throughout Gemini season, so around the end of May, coming into June, that all these planets are going to gather into Gemini in your sixth house, and eventually what's going to happen is they're going to oppose that Sagittarius energy for you. So this is what I see. I see greater variety. I see greater spontaneity. I see flexibility. I see your desire to want to even, do you know what? Be a little superficial. Be a little bit childlike and playful, and even just welcome basic facts information, because to me it's almost like you can dive really heavy, really, really deeply into things. And I'm not saying to not do that, of course, but this is about balance, isn't it? This is so much about balance when it comes to these oppositions. So there's just something up ahead, I think, in terms of how you engage, right? Like how you really engage with, coworkers, colleagues, clients, customers, all this type of stuff. But then here's the the thing that I want to mention, just to kind of sort of close this off. Seventh house. You are 54. Your 54th year then is the seventh house activation. What's the seventh house? Clients and customers. You've got Cancer there. And so that suggests to me that you attract clients and customers who are going through it emotionally, who maybe are looking for some type of support or assistance on an emotional level, to be a caregiver, to be a nurturer. Moon, then, the ruler of that seventh house, it is in Leo. So the way I also see this is and here's the other thing, just quickly, you're also experiencing your secondary lunar return, right? So that moon energy is there with your natal moon. So yes, you also attract clients who want to know more about their inner selves. This is about the psyche. This is about unraveling mystery. This is about the occult. Again, it goes back to the healing stuff. But because here you are experiencing another lunar return, secondary progressive lunar return, I just think there's a lot coming up here to do with self, right? It's your individual healing journey as well, right? It's being reminded of your own sort of inner stuff at the same time, and what maybe can you let go of, like in terms of what doesn't belong to you. Maybe there's a lot of healing and cleansing here coming up ahead, but it's trying, as I was trying to say with the Gemini energy, it's trying not to take it super seriously, and it's just trying to maybe come at it from a more lighthearted way. Okay. Clara, thank you. I hope you find that to be helpful. Okay, so we have another 2 booked. Thank you so much. What I'm going to do is I'm going to edit the title because that's us fully booked for today. Let's see. Edit. Just give me a moment. Clara, thank you so much. And then we will jot down the other names. And thank you. Thank you for being here. Do we like Sundays for live readings? Are we liking these? And if I closed. Okay, so we're closed. We're fully booked. Okay, save. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for being here. Thank you for booking. Thank you so much. Save. Thank you, Clara. Thank you. Okay. So next we have Honey York. Let me just enter your information. Oh, your birthday is coming up very soon. Happy birthday to you. Time, yep. It's 2 p.m., yep. Okay, just double checking your information. We've got it all correctly. Okay, great. So, yeah. Okay, so it's 11. All right. There. Right, so I'm just going to share my screen. There we go. Okay, Honey York. Just going to read your question. Prominent thing happening, okay. Libra rising, yep. For anyone, bit of a nightmare. You want to know the end before you begin. Okay, interesting. You want to know the end before you begin. Interesting. Okay. Right. So, Honey York. So what we want to think about then here is 7th house energy. We wanna explore the 7th house. So as you were rightfully saying, Libra rising, it's at 0 degrees as well. So with that potency, right, it could very much be that you relate strongly to the Libra rising sort of typical description, as you were rightfully saying in your entry form about looking for love, right, being relationship orientated essentially. So you've got Venus, which is your chart ruler. Venus is in Aries, and it's also in the 7th house. So this one, it's sort of like there's a part of you that may not fully connect to that Libra rising energy, because the thing is that Venus, it is in detriment in Aries. And so there can be this sort of jumping perhaps into new relationships quite quickly, but there can also be just as much jumping out of them quite quickly, right? We see this with the 7th house. The thing about the 7th house is it can show us how relationships begin, but also how they end, how they come to a close. So in your case, there could be this this hot, steamy, passionate like beginning where you meet someone new and it's well, it's so amazing. And if you feel that rush of excitement, then you just want to dive in head first. That's very Aries. Aries just tends to not really think so much in that way. It's more about a desire. It's more about following that desire, that push. There's that ability to initiate, right? But I think at the same time, this can also happen when it comes to other people toward you. But it's how you keep that relationship burning, how you keep it alive. And I think also there's more to this, isn't there? Right? Because the thing is that Saturn is conjunct the descendant. And I'm even going to go as far as to say that Chiron is conjunct the descendant. And even if that orb is too wide, Chiron is still conjunct Saturn. So with the descendant conjunction here and Chiron, there's something here. And I hope that I'm not getting too personal, maybe a bit sensitive stuff, but there is something quite sensitive about trust. There's something here about perhaps not wanting to be let down, not wanting to disappoint, or there could be some sort of false sense of security. Why is this? Saturn and Chiron are in Pisces, right? So they're in Pisces. So I'm seeing this as you potentially experiencing rejection, or maybe even the fears of rejection, right? There can be those fears of being rejected, those fears of abandonment. So there's a part of this, I think there's a part of it where you're 1 foot in, but you're also 1 foot out. But I think a lot of this has to do with vulnerability. I think a lot of this has to do with the fear of being hurt. So self-sabotage, perhaps, where maybe you, before the other person can hurt you, before they can reject you, you're like, no, I'm going to reject them first. I'm out, right? Or it could be that there's just a lot that you place into the relationship. There's a lot of that heavy kind of seriousness that goes in. There's even, I'm going to go as far as to say, like an intensity. And the reason why I'm saying this is because Neptune is also making this trine energy to the Pisces energy a bit. And so it's almost like you can become lost in that intensity, lost in this kind of fog as well. Even Neptune is making that opposition to Saturn. So there's also something here about giving your power away. There's something here about the North Node in Taurus saying, hey, I want you to follow this, and I want you to maybe incorporate your ability to be steady and stable and secure. Now, this is not to say that it's like, to stay in a relationship and it's like, oh, you need to commit, you need to, be in it long haul. Of course, it matters about what you want, essentially, too. You have to think about that. What do you want? But I also see this as there's a lot here. There's a lot to do with the fears of being let down. There's something about trust that can maybe be a bit tricky to develop, to establish, maybe due to past experiences, past situations. Of course, there's more in detail to this, which I wish I could really get to the depths of, but there's only so much time for you, Honey York. But what I am going to finish off by saying is transit. So we think about how the North Node has been transiting Aries since July 2023. We notice that Chiron is very close there to your Venus. We also noticed the Mercury retrograde that happened recently from the 1st to the 25th of April. So it's safe to say that over the past while, you've really been triggered from all angles, all directions, right? Triggered when it comes to love, triggered when it comes to relationships. And it's those sort of triggers that are so much about your identity. I do wonder, are there genuine sort of fears of your identity being taken away? Like the minute that you can perhaps sense, this person is trying to like cross a boundary, or this person is trying to take away my freedom, you are out of there. It's like, I'm done, gone, So, there's so much, of course, to this. There's so much to unravel. And the other thing about it is you're about to come up to your second Saturn return, right? Saturn is the end of Pisces. So the way I see it is as soon as Saturn enters the sign, the Saturn return is happening. But the full strength of that Saturn return for you isn't going to be until around about 2026 time, end of 2025, 2026. But yeah, that's really suggesting this another way to look at the maturity, that spiritual growth as well, and the healing involved in that. Maybe there's even something here about the challenges in believing that a relationship will work out, maybe because it's like you've seen it time and time again, like that. Well, what's the point? It's not going to work. I've been here before. The way I even see this is you've gotten caught up in a loop. You've gotten caught up in some type of emotional cycle, and there's so much more to say, and there's only so much time I have to of course talk about. I could go more in depth. I could look at Pluto and Uranus and everything as well, on that really unconscious level. But for now, Honey York, the information that I have provided, I really, really hope that you have found it to be helpful. And I wish you all the very best on your journey as well. Okay, so stop sharing. Well, yeah, people just crossing your boundaries constantly. Yeah. The loop. Yeah. Thank you, Honey York. Thank you. Okay, so moving on, we've got Jackie. Now, before I start to enter in your details, Jackie, I am just going to grab the final couple of people. So we've got Jackie, we've got Ren, Roxana, Crystal, Adrien. Then we have, again, if my pronunciations are bad, I am sorry. Yulan, Yulan, Ulan. Okay, so we've got you booked in. Thank you. And then we have Claudia. Oh, Claudia. Yeah, you jumped on it. Nice. Right. Yeah, so Claudia. Nice. Okay, so Jackie. Now I'm just double checking. We've got everybody. You've got all your information. Bum, bum, bum. Nice. Great. Okay, perfect. So Jackie is next. Okay. One. Yes. Oh, also, Honey York, happy birthday to you again. Happy birthday. I do. I hope you have a lovely birthday. We have another Gemini in the audience. Jackie, yes, happy birthday to you as well. Okay. Nice. Let me just save this. Okay, come out of there. Come out of there. Go here. Save here. Ooh, awesome, Crystal. I'm glad. Okay, Jackie. Where are we? Question. Right. So you are about to graduate college this summer. Oh, congratulations. And you are teetering back and forth between teaching or a career in communication or both. Interesting, right? Okay. We've got all that Gemini energy in the 10th. Very fitting. Right. Where should I look to for the career where you will thrive and fulfill your purpose? Wow. Okay. So, how wonderful to think that you're graduating. And the thing is that this is so interesting. You've been going through your Jupiter return, which, by the way, your Jupiter return has been a lot more like it's strong, very much so. Jupiter is finishing up in Taurus. It's going to enter Gemini on the 25th of May. So fascinating to think that like this energy is aligning with your Jupiter return because you have Jupiter and Taurus there in the ninth house. What is the ninth house? The ninth house is going to tell us about higher education. So things like graduating, courses we do, advanced training we take on, these types of things. Yeah, qualifications very much fall under this house. So with Saturn conjunct Jupiter, we can see your consistency, right? We can see the hard work that you've been doing. And yeah, just that the ability to keep at it and the effort that you've put in and the success in that, right? The real success in that. So, first and foremost in this way, like recognize that, right? Be proud of yourself. Now, we want to then think about all of that Gemini energy in the 10th house. The 10th house, the 10th house can give us some insight into the sort uh, of course, career paths that we take on, right? There can be career paths or vocation. Yes. Now, it can also show up as our purpose. Now, I just want to be clear on this. Our career doesn't necessarily have to be our purpose. For some people, their career is their purpose, but this is not always the case. Now, for you, I cannot but think that where you're going to feel the most like purpose in your life is whenever you are in these communicative roles, whenever you are able to use your words to be articulate, right? To use your studies, right? The studying that you've been doing and that you will continue to do. I mean, I see this as you being this eager learner, this never ending student. And I think that matters to you, right? It's almost like what's coming through for me is knowledge is power, but it's how you share your gift of knowledge and teaching with the world. And we see this with Sun, right? Sun is so much about purpose. Sun is about our direction in life. it is our vitality, right? It's what lights us up, literally, right? The sun is the light. So for you, I think what's going to fulfill you and really light you up in this life is whenever you are using your voice, whenever you are sharing information, when you're connecting the dots, when you're seeing how facts and everything, how they are gathered and how they relate to one another. But then also relating to other people, the relationship piece, connecting with others, this stuff is so important to you because Venus is there. Venus is right there with the sun. Now, yes, Venus is combust, so there could be, maybe some annoyances, like when you, for example, don't feel like you're being understood within relationships. And this could apply then to certain bosses and managers that you come across, within your roles and stuff like this. But when you feel like that, you can really take it personal. But then the other thing about it is Mars is also combust, and Mars is also in Gemini, conjunct the midheaven too, very closely. So what does this all mean? You're also going to be a leader. I see this as you being an intellectual leader, an advisor in a manager role, right? You're going to be a manager, but you're also going to manage in such a way, where you're sharp. You are sharp, but at the same time, you're considerate, right? You're considerate toward other people's needs and what they want and hearing their views, But hey, so basically, yes, your career path, these things could very well indicate these areas that I just mentioned. But just in a very overall sense, in terms of purpose, I think where you're going to feel the most fulfilled is whenever it does involve all of that communicative stuff, even marketing, research, advertising, media, sales, connecting with like-minded people. Hey, this brings us on to something else that is very important. Mercury's the chart ruler, right? You've got Virgo rising, very analytical, detail orientated. You notice all those little errors and stuff like that. Moon is also there, so there's also like a part of you that can truly empathize with other people in this way. It's very much shown. These things that I mentioned can be used to your benefit, especially if we think about it within the workplace. People may really go to you for some sort of help or support. It's like you're that go-to person, and you're going to be so like, how do I say, gentle, and you're going to come across as caring, really caring, as if you really like you care so much about what you do. So anyway, Mercury, which is the chart ruler, plus Mercury is the ruler of the midheaven and all the Gemini energy, that is in Cancer. That's in Cancer in the 11th house. So whenever you actually do communicate, the words that come out, they are sensitive, right? Sensitive toward other people's needs. My goodness, I just see this as you potentially leading teams, right? All like, look at those secondary progressions, even in Cancer there. Leading teams, the North Node is also there. So there's another indicator of leading groups and teams. But you're going to be, well, this is how I see it, a very compassionate leader, an intuitive leader, an intuitive advisor. You're going to care so much about making sure everybody else belongs, that they're a part of something. My goodness, I can't help but feel like these areas are going to just fill you up. And we can see that this is possibly that life trajectory that you're going to take, given how the planets align. Okay, Jackie, so that was for you. Please, I hope I have not frozen. I hope I have not frozen. We're good. Yes, Jackie, thank you so much. Wow. Okay, so Ren. Right. Thank you so much, Jackie. Thank you for being here, everyone. Thank you for booking. Let's see. B, 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 B. $16. Yep. Yep. Okay, perfect. Let's see. Just going to share my screen for yours, Ren. Okay, great. You're here. You're with us. Right. Let's have a look. Let's see your question. Love. So this is about love. Steps to take to improve your love life. All right. Thank you for your question. Let's see. Okay, so the first thing that really stood out to me for you is that word of improve, right? Improvement. And whenever I heard or read that word improve, the first sign I thought of was Virgo. And then when we look to your chart, you've got your moon in Virgo. So the seventh house then is so much about relationships, the types of people that we attract, and the types of people that we unconsciously actually go looking for when it comes to relationships. So I think for you, what is perhaps quite important is being with someone who actually makes the effort, right? They make a decent effort to wanna, to wanna help, to wanna serve, or to wanna improve anything that even comes up. Now, of course, this is not to say like, it's about expecting your partners and lovers to be like servants in this way. That's not what I'm saying. It's just more about that little attention to detail, that little thoughtfulness, right? Partners who just they have that certain touch. Maybe even they can be quite gentle and soft and perhaps just kind, right? There's that kindness, there's a possible sort of sweetness to them, that moon energy, maybe nurturing partners as well. But you see, I think as well what the moon in Virgo is indicating is there's a part of this, and I want to bring this back to within, right? To go within. There's a part of us, I think, where it's like, well, how can you also give that kindness and that gentleness towards yourself? How can you make that effort when it comes to, how you take care of your body, how you take care of yourself within partnerships? How can you even just practice some sort of kindness and tenderness? Because the other thing is, Moon is opposing the ascendant and Mercury as well. Mercury is the dispositor of the moon, and of course, this ascendant Mercury energy is in Pisces. So, what we notice here are these possible projections actually when it comes to relationships. What I'm getting from this is what belongs to you, especially emotionally speaking, and what belongs to someone else. Because this is what we see here with this possible dynamic. It's the merging, it's the taking on other people's stuff. Maybe what this is suggesting is that when it comes, Ren, and I hope, I hope I'm not going too personal in this way, but when it comes to relationships, you may play the fixer role, the savior role. Oh, how can I help you? How can I help you? It kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier a little bit, with the service stuff, helpful stuff. And yes, when it comes to relationships, it's nice, to feel like, your partner supports you, they're on your team, they're there for you. But If that is to an extreme, or if that is done even as a way to manipulate or deceive, then this is where we're noticing the difficulties here. We're noticing even these potential themes of you self-sacrificing a lot, right? You sort of surrendering, oh yes, no problem, oh yeah, I'll do that, no problem. So maybe there is also a part of this where it's about trying to establish sort of healthier boundaries, healthier emotional boundaries. And voila, what we have is Saturn. Saturn is transiting Pisces, and it has been since March 2023. And Saturn is actually very close to this Mercury influence for you. So what this is suggesting is perhaps this is a good opportunity to be able to communicate your boundaries, to communicate that, hey, this is my stuff, but that's your stuff. But then there's more to this. There's more to this, because what we further see is that, well, we want to look at Venus, because Venus is going to help us further when it comes to relationships and love and everything. Venus is right there with the South Node, with Neptune. And then the North Node is in Leo. We go back to self. We go back to your individuality, right? That North Node energy in Leo, it is also about, okay, what about me? What about me? How can I validate myself? And what are these parts of me that get lost in the other? That get lost, right? My objectivity with Aquarius in the 12th house, Neptune, your objectivity of the whole situation it dissolves. Maybe because, these matters were not so perhaps supported. That could be a thing, right? Having sort of healthy boundaries wasn't really something that like you were used to, or you weren't really shown. But then this is about that inner work, isn't it? With the 12th house, it's being able to go within and to reflect upon, okay, well, where have I self-sacrificed to such an extent where I don't even know myself anymore? There is that part of it too, with all that Pisces, right? Your sun is in Pisces, you've got a Pisces rising, you've got Mercury there, and Mercury's even in detriment, it's in its fall in Pisces. So there's just a lot of this perhaps that's suggesting that, you're used to sort of just merging so much with other people or losing yourself in other people. Now, don't get me wrong, this Pisces energy can also be so beautiful and poetic, and just the way to really sink into a feeling, into an experience where you're vibing with other people, you're connecting in such a kind, generous, compassionate way. Oh my goodness, you can perform miracles. But we possibly notice that people can disrespect that. People may try to sort of walk over you, mistaken your kindness for weakness. But this is why I think that North Node energy in Leo, it's somewhat suggesting ego, establishing an ego, being able to hold space for that part of you that is able to go, this is what I want. This is what I'm choosing to do. And of course, fascinatingly speaking, we've got Mars, and Mars is in Aries, right? So that Mars in Aries energy is able to sort of come out and be like, enough is enough. Like I can't deal with this. So I think that Mars in Aries energy can be quite supportive in this way. So yeah, I hope, Ren, that you were able to benefit then from your reading. Okay, if we stop sharing. Yeah, Mars is making a sextile to Venus and Neptune. Sextiles have a Venus-like quality, and there's so much about support. It's almost like call on that Mars, like tap it in, tap it into the ring whenever you need to let that fire out, whenever you need to let that assertion out, that self-assertion. It's like, this is what I want, right? Now, of course, Chiron and everything perhaps has suggested these sensitivities surrounding such matters, but the North Node is also there supporting you. So kind of saying that by you taking action and standing up for yourself, possibly putting yourself first at times, then that's almost like a big nod to your destiny, to your direction right now. Okay. Oh, the charts. Oh, where are we? Okay, awesome. Oh, it's warm. Yes, exactly. Thank you. Yeah, channel that fire. Uh-huh. It's in you. It's in you, Ren. It's in you. So interesting. So interesting. Okay. Roxana, let's go. It is warm. I need a fan. I'm not complaining, right? It's just a fact. Okay. Let's see. So 11, bum bum bum, bum ba-dum bum bum. There we go. Right, Roxana, let's do this. Let's do this. Thank you so much for booking, everyone. Do we like Sundays for these? Do we like Sundays? Is it a good feeling, you know? Is it nice on a Sunday? Do we prefer Thursdays? I don't know. Just let me know what you think. Okay. Let's see. Move that over there. Go here. Okay. Thank you so much, Ren. I hope that you benefited. Oh, Ren, you said that you're enjoying the Sundays. Okay. Okay, great. So, Roxana, here is your chart. Right, you have a question. Astrology. Would astrology be a good career for you? You are preparing, but you are stressed about the money side of it. Okay, right. Let's see. Let's have a look. First and foremost, what I want to do is I want to address the stressed stuff, the stressed about money, possibly even fears of money. We're going to say that. Are we going to suggest that? Possible fears? Because we see that you have Capricorn in the second house. And yes, Jupiter is there, right? Jupiter is there in terms of, okay, blessing you with possible good luck or fortune or prosperity and things like this. But anything Capricorn, anything Saturn also says, hey, you know what, you also got to work for this. And there has to be some sort of, effort and discipline on your part. So we are seeing here that you can be a very disciplined student, a highly disciplined learner, right? Jupiter, which is the chart ruler. It's the dispositor of all of your Sagittarius. I mean, your Sagittarius, like huge Sagittarius person. So Jupiter as a big part of that is suggesting that on your part, you are going to be very disciplined and determined and hardworking, and you're going to persevere, right? When there are sort of limitations and things like this that come up, delays and setbacks, you're going to want to make a plan, or you're going to want to overcome it. And you can be really resilient, I would say, in this regard. Even the secondary progress Mars is in Capricorn. So there's drive, there's stamina on your part. So all of this is to say that, yes, when it comes to anything sort of money related, right, financial related, even when it comes to certain skills and talents that you want to develop, right, that you want to improve upon, you are going to show up. So there's commitment. We see this. Much respect for that. Much respect for that, Roxana. But I think, with the stress here to do with finances, I think a part of it is because you care, right? You care about longevity. You care about your security and feeling just, really stable in this way with that Capricorn. And then even the secondary progressed ascendant is in Capricorn. So we're seeing these things. Now, when we think about astrology, we want to think about how in astrology there are so many moving parts, so many. And what's really important to recognize when it comes to learning this study is the bigger picture. My goodness, Roxana, Sagittarius ruled. Sagittarius can see the bigger picture. And you, with all that Sagittarius energy, I think that you have it in you. You have it in you to be able to look at the bigger picture and to see, right, okay, how does this all sort of connect? But then I think what further adds to this actually is the Uranus part. Uranus is right there with the ascendant. And Uranus, I was saying about Sagittarius with the bigger picture. Uranus, Aquarius energy is also able to look at the bigger picture, but can really draw those big connections and conclusions between those many moving parts. And you have that Uranus quality, right? You have that ability to kind of have these like flashes of insight, have the innovation, the hits of like, oh my gosh, I can see this. I can see how, all these moving parts are playing out together. And here's the other thing about it. There is the genuine excitement and the passion and the enthusiasm on your part with Mars, Moon there, right? There's that emotional part of it where when you are inspired by something, and typically that's knowledge with Sagittarius, typically that's travel, typically that's just anything that takes you way outside of your comfort zone and there's adventure in it. When you're in that zone, it's hard for you to not stop. Like you are thirsty for more and more and more, right? There's that more quality to Sagittarius. And you just want to keep going. And especially when your emotions are in it, right? There's that inspiration. There's even the motivation and the drive with Mars and Sagittarius too. So it's safe to say here, Roxana, in terms of the astrology stuff, we are seeing that just you have these basically these qualities, these traits, these attributes that very much align with that path. But then there's also the intuitive piece, right? There is Neptune there in Sagittarius. You can even intuitively sort of feel into things, pick up on things, right? So, astrology requires that. Astrology requires a level of intuition and just trusting where you're being guided. I mean, right now I'm trying to kind of look at this whole chart, but I'm trying to also recognize, right, where am I being led? Like, well, how can I listen to that? You have this part of you that can communicate this. And we even want to mention as well, your sun is in Libra. It's right there with the midheaven. And then Mercury is in Virgo. Mercury in Virgo was like, I can break it all down and I can see all the details. And then the sun in Libra is like, okay, I want to weigh out both sides. You're not going to just see things as like one or two ways. You're going to want to like really balance things out, weigh things out, explore your options, and make sure that you're exploring all sides. So we see that as well. And you need that kind of level of maybe objectivity slightly, or that level of just questioning the other side of the coin, I guess, when it comes to astrology as well. And then also with all that Scorpio energy and the 12th house is deeply spiritual. So there is that sort of spiritual side that can come into astrology. Even just seeing what's beneath the surface, exploring the mysteries of it all. And I think you have that sort of within you. And this doesn't just go for astrology, by the way. Like, I just see this as you as a person, you are someone, you want to look deeper. You want to pull back the layer and then pull back another and then pull back another, and you just keep going and going and going. So we see all of this. But what I sort of lastly want to say, just quickly, there is that Chiron energy in Gemini. And why I want to bring this up is this is suggesting some possible rejections or dismissals or wounds to do with communication and using your voice. So, a part of Chiron, the wisdom, the healing connected to Chiron, is you trusting in your voice. Okay, and that is even linked to Sagittarius energy with the opposition to the ascendant. I think a big part of whatever you do, whether that be astrology, whatever path you take, there's something about that self-belief that is so important. And there's something about you being able to recognize that you have the information that you need. You have it. Maybe there can be even a part of it where you sit on the fence a bit, right? With the trine to the sun in Libra. It's like, oh, should I? Don't know, and maybe a big part of it is just like, right, go, you've got this, right? You've got this. There's so much about that inspiration and that belief from within, and that you have that information. You've got it down. Okay. I hope, did I freeze? Please, did I freeze? No, I didn't. Roxana, thank you so much. Okay, Crystal. I know you're excited for this, Crystal. I was reading above. Also, thank you so much for your input about Sundays. We may go for Sundays from now on then. Could be a contender. Yep, could do Sunday live readings. Do you know what? Sundays could be good. It's a weekend as well. All right. Crystal. Now, I just want to say that this is literally quick, boom. Quick information to the point, being led throughout the chart. And then if you are interested in booking a reading with me, then you can visit my website, hannahselsewhere.com. All right, so let's see. Crystal. Yep. 78. And that's PM. Okay. Perfect. Oh, Edyard, thank you so much. And that's amazing that you've been learning astrology now for 6 or 7 years. That's awesome. And Crystal, okay, I see you. Focus should be heavy Cancer placements, emotions and feelings. Okay, I've got you. Okay, let's see. Let's have a look. And if I just grab, let's see, birthday. Where am I? Yes. Birthday. And go here. 11th. Okay. Got it. Right, so I'm just reading through your question, Crystal. Thank you so much. Where is your focus? Right person and career. Okay. There's a bit of help on your part. Okay. Well, let's see. Oh, Roxana. Awesome. Yes, yay. I really hope that you find your reading to be helpful. Yay, thank you so much for your feedback. Thank you. Okay, so Crystal, you say that you have these Cancer planets, okay? And basically you can become swept away by your emotions. And honestly, we further see this sort of amplified, if you will, via this Uranus energy in Scorpio, with there's a trine, there's that trine energy to the sun, and there's still that trine energy by sign to Cancer. So the way I kind of view this is your emotions can really fluctuate so heavily, like there can be those extremes. Even I see this as your emotional waves being really, really big. And so trying to sort of manage those emotional waves may be quite challenging. But then I wonder, this is also what I wonder, which to be fair, I also see this enhanced by Jupiter, right? Jupiter expands whatever it touches. But I wonder, with having these Cancer planets in the 7th, how often are you in these roles within relationships where you're being that one to try to manage other people's emotions? This is kind of what I'm feeling from this. That often you're in that caregiver role, for partners, for lovers, for family, for friends. It's like you can really step into that caregiving role and maybe even just feel other people's emotions to such an extent that you amplify theirs, and then it just becomes this whole emotional thing, right? And there's no real logic or reason to the situation, but it's almost as if you can feed off other people's. So what I think is important to keep in mind here is being able to establish this kind of healthy way of regulating your own, because of course we can't necessarily control other people's emotions and regulate theirs. Of course, if you do have children, and there is an importance in trying to help your children, regulate their own. But when we're thinking about adult relationships, it maybe something to keep in mind for you is, hey, I can't control this other person. I don't have it. It's not my stuff. How do I feel about that? Okay, let them work through their own emotional stuff. And then how can you maybe come to that situation perhaps through a more logical view, a more calm, even just to be in a more calm place. Even Capricorn on the rising, right? That Capricorn rising, let me just say, I wonder for you, Crystal, how much of your life have you spent being that achiever? How much of your life have you spent being that person who needs to have it all together, right? You need to be in control all the time, right? You need to feel like, okay, everything's managed and I'm taking responsibility, and this is the plan, right? This is the plan to follow. So when we even think about this further, it's almost as if a lot of your own emotional needs were, in a way, and I say this with love, and it's not about me pointing blame on anybody. I just want to be very, very clear. But your own emotional needs were sort of put to the side, right? Because it's like you maybe had to keep it together more so for the family, for loved ones. So where does that leave you emotionally? So I think what that can suggest is that when you do become emotional, it's like, oh, I'm just completely swept away, because maybe you're trying so hard to keep so much in. And it gets to a point where you're just like you explode. So what we want to think about, Saturn. Saturn is the chart ruler, and it's in Leo. And Venus is right there with it as well. Venus is what? Venus is about relationships. And that is something, that you asked about. You're asking about, okay, with the right person, this type of stuff. Okay. So what I think this is suggesting is that there's a lot of inner child stuff here. Inner child stuff. And again, without making this like too personal, or maybe entering into really sensitive areas for you, perhaps there are certain blockages. Blockages of what? Play, fun, spontaneity, putting yourself first, Putting yourself first, enjoying your time in the sun, taking time just to do the things that make you feel good, right? It's like these things that actually make you feel good, and like they make you feel happy. A lot of those things were like denied, repress. And of course, the other thing about it is, Crystal, you've got Chiron in the 5th house. What's the 5th house? That is where we establish an ego. The 5th house is about how were we allowed to be children? Could we play? Could we have fun? How was our individuality supported? But Chiron here indicates that there was some type of like a wound, a scar, a challenge, a rejection, a dismissal, a denial. You can't have fun. You can't play. So perhaps there's a part of this where you internalized these sort of views. So I cannot but think that the Leo energy is so much about you getting in touch with that child within. Even the secondary progressed sun is right up there with Saturn. It's heavy stuff. This is heavy stuff. And there's only so much that I can really go into, within this short period of time, Crystal. But what I want to end this short reading by saying is, the thing is that Uranus, right? We were saying about Uranus with the trines to Cancer. Uranus is in the 11th, and with you being, well, you're going to be turning 46. Yeah, you're going to be turning 46 on the 5th of July. So your 46th year, the 11th house will be activated. That year, so your 46th year, I think is going to be pretty eye-opening for you in terms of reinventing yourself within the collective. Even those collective views, right? Your ideas of, what it means to break free, your ideas of what it means to, to embrace your uniqueness, your eccentricities, these types of things. And maybe you will experience then these sort of death and rebirth moments tied to these matters. So, yeah, and just you want to follow Mars, of course, throughout this year. Mars will be retrograde. Mars will actually be retrograde in Leo and Cancer by the end of the year. So that will be, so I would say November, December time, up until January, February time. Those kind of 4 months, I think, could be really quite eye-opening for you in terms of how you really assert yourself within your relationships. There's something here about you taking action and taking charge, but it's more about doing so in a way where you can gradually allow yourself to sort of let those emotions out, but it's not so much about sort of being consumed or carried away by them, but it's how you can manage them in a way where there's some type of control, but maybe that control in a way is more about you. It's more about embracing your like sense of self, right? It goes back to that Leo stuff. It goes back to the inner child stuff. It's like, no, listen to me, right? I get the sense that, you have in the past tried to share and express what you need emotionally, but then it's that people don't quite hear you and you're like, seriously? And then it gets to a point where you just, there's a lot of emotion that comes out. So for you, in terms of your own sort of, your own inner world and your own emotional state, that Mars retrograde could be very, very healing for you. So there's more I could say. There is. And I always wish that I could. Especially, whenever I see certain charts and I really want to go deeper and deeper and to help. But for now, Crystal, I really hope that you find that to be helpful. Okay. Did I not say Capricorn? Capricorn rising? I was meaning to say Capricorn rising if I didn't say that. But yeah. Okay. I don't know. Did I say Sagittarius rising maybe? I'm not sure. But anyway, let's move on to Adrien. Is it Adrien? Is that how you spell or pronounce your name? Adrien? Thank you. We're just going to enter your details. th of March. Okay, let's see. Double check. Bum, bum. Bum, 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 bum. Okay, so you want to know May, June time, just sort of, major transits. Let's see. 19 minus 20. 8. And that is... Oh, interesting. Okay, cool. Okay. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Okay. Let's see. Save. So we have Adrien, and then we have Yulan, and then we have Claudia. And that will be us for this Sunday. But yes, I think Sundays seem to be a good day for this. I've got 3 left today. Hello to Damien. Welcome from Canada. Very good. Yes. Let me see. Crystal, great. I'm so glad that you find it to be helpful. Great. Okay, let's get Adrien. Okay, let's have a look. And so you want to know about basically May or June, just some transits, major transit stuff like this. Radio. Well, have I got news for you? Because Adrien, we have here you having this Taurus rising, right? And how basically we're coming to the end, we're nearing the end of Taurus season. Venus is there, and Jupiter and Uranus, of course. Jupiter eventually is going to enter Gemini on the 25th of May. So it's going to enter your second house. And then the sun, of course, we've got Gemini season coming on the 20th of May. So your sun's going to be in there. You've got the stellium coming into the second. So let's just have a bit of a reflective time here for you and think about the past year. Think about how your goals and your aims have very much changed and how they've been solidified in a lot of ways as well, and the possible opportunities to do with stability, and also the patience that has really been required, and the unexpected changes that have been happening left, right, and center, and how you have been just massively reinventing yourself over the past few years. Reinventing yourself when it comes to your self-worth, when it comes to just knowing, right? Knowing your worth, knowing your value. And then also the changes that have been happening on such a remarkable level in terms of your financial opportunities and even the possibilities that are out there, and being able to recognize that there are greater possibilities that surround you. So yes, I think you really have, you've grown. You have grown so much, and we further see this with you having Jupiter in Taurus. I mean, you have just went through a Jupiter return. So that, I feel, has suggested just how much you have grown as a person, even identity wise, physical appearance wise, even just seeing who and what you have outgrown in this life, and how, that is also linked to, it's linked to your aims and your goals and your self-worth. And here's the thing, which is also interesting. You celebrated a birthday on the 28th of March. So you turned 48. And so this means that you're going through this first house activation. This first house is being activated for you this entire year. So this further adds to this identity stuff. There's so much here about you really enjoying, indulging, doing the things that bring you pleasure, doing the things that make you feel so secure from within, and how these things are going to continue this year. But you want to think about Venus, right? What is Venus doing? So let's think about May, June. So Venus is going to enter Gemini this Gemini season. And then we're going to have a Venus Cassimi in Gemini on the 4th of June. That's going to happen in your second house. And at the same time, Jupiter and Mercury are also going to be there for a conjunction in your second house. I think there could be major shifts when it comes to your sources of income. The ideas could be flowing when it comes to how you manage your money. There could even be some growth, right? Growth maybe because your name is being recommended. People want to know about your expertise. People want to know about your skills. You could be very skilled at working with your hands, or you could be very skilled at even, hey, being quite an inspirational person, being quite a leading person, to coach others, to inspire them, to get them to maybe even to try new things, to assist them in that way. The reason why I'm saying this is because the ruler of your second house, right? The second house looks at our skills and our talents. The ruler of that is Mercury, and you've got it in Aries. And you're born during Aries season, right? Your sun is in Aries. So that energy is in the 12th house. So there's something here about you helping people see that they can do it. It's like you have this fighting spirit that energy within itself opposes Pluto. So you know, like you know all too well what it means to reinvent yourself, what it means to overcome such intense situations in your life, especially related to work, especially related to coworker relationships and colleagues and stuff like this, your health, how things have really transformed throughout your life. So it's almost like you can take those spiritual lessons and then apply them to that of, okay, how can I help others? Right? How can I serve others? And then we bring it back to the Gemini second house energy, where perhaps there are these social skills you possess. There's just, you have a way with words, you can be very articulate. So like just knowing even what information to pass on. I even see this as you potentially taking on some type of new program, right? New learning, a new course, right? All that Gemini energy in that second house, throughout May coming into June, that could be really exciting for you on an intellectual level. Even thinking about how you could very well make money from your social skills, from your ability to sell, to market, to advertise, to teaching possibly as well. And then when we really do continue into June, right? So we're going to kind of come into Cancer season. You know, that the energy is going to start to build in the third house for you. So, you know, more into June, into July time as well. There could be some challenges actually, because Saturn and Mars are in Cancer, right? And by challenges, it could just be where perhaps it's addressing an old conversation with a sibling, maybe a sibling that there's been some tension or possible rivalry in the past. Maybe you have overcome these types of things, you know, throughout your relationship. But yeah, maybe just revisiting these areas, even possibly having to take a good hard look at where you are and with respect to your local area, your local neighborhood. Again, we could possibly see the maturity process, how things have grown, you know, how you have changed as a person. So in this way, it could just be that memories come up, right? You're just sort of remembered of, you're reminded of the past. And then what I also want to just finish off by saying is the other thing about May, June time is the Aries energy. We've still got, well, for you, Mercury's finishing up in Aries, Mars is also there. So there's also, I think, which by the way, you're also coming up to your Chiron return. Let's say that. So there's a lot going on psychologically for you too, I think. So there could be much sort of change in terms of, okay, the financial possibilities, growth, stuff like that, especially with the first house activations right this year. But the Aries stuff, especially coming up to your Chiron return, there could be like a release, a purging, a renewal, a letting go. There's something cleansing, deeply cleansing. And this is not just a one and done thing. It's not like, you know, one woman's going to come and then that's it. I just think there's a lot happening for you on a subconscious level, maybe through your dreams, perhaps even thinking about your greatest fears sort of coming up. But here's the thing, I just want to finish off by saying, you being an Aries, you have this amazing ability. This is what I love about Aries. You face the dragon, so to speak. You face your challenges. You're like, oh, you got a challenge for me? Yeah, I'm gonna overcome it. I'm gonna, come on, bring it on, you know. So I think you have that within you. So yeah, I just think it could suggest some type of, you know, being brave on your part, which I do think has been happening quite a bit with the Mercury retrograde, which happened from the 1st to the 25th of April. But yeah, all of this is to say that, and I know I'm kind of going off a little bit, but I just really feel a need to mention that Chiron return, which is coming up more and more strongly over the next couple of years for you. So, yeah, there's just that. I think it's suggesting healing, but it's also suggesting the importance of being really kind to yourself throughout that process. Okay. Right. So I hope, I really hope that you find that to be helpful. I really, really do. Thank you for booking. Thank you. All right. So moving on to Yulan. Oh, it is warm. It is warm. Okay, birthday. Got your birthday. Yep. Here. Let's see. Oh, Yulan, I am so sorry. I have been saying the location in which you were born. I am so sorry about that. So pronunciations. Let me. Yunenbat. Is it Yunenbat? I do hope I'm pronouncing correctly. I always try to be very careful. Yeah. So I do. I respect you. So yeah, I hope I'm pronouncing correctly. Okay, let's see. I have entered your information. AM. Yep. Okay. Let's see. Now, let me just share my screen and then have a look at your question. All right. Okay. No problem. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Let's see. Rightio. So your question. Mars, Venus, Mercury, all in Leo in the 11th house mean? Okay. Does it play out more? Oh, wait. 11th house. Do you use Placidus? Let me see. That's okay. I am open to using different house systems completely. I am open to doing that. I can do that. Let me just grab that and change it over. Yes. Over there. Over here. Over here. Let's see. Oh, stop sharing. Oh, no problem. Thank you. Okay, well, I'm going to show then this one just because, because you did ask about it then. Right. In the 11th house, let's have a look. Yeah. So let's think of it like this. I'll try and break this down. The sun The sun is our vitality, right? It's our life force, right? It's what lights us up. The sun can tell us about how we express ourselves. So for you to have your sun in Virgo, this suggests to me that the ways in which you express yourself is by actually, being quite kind, informative, studious, paying attention to details, perhaps correcting people when they need to be corrected, polite, right? You can be rather polite. And you can also be rather matter of fact. And this sort of feeds into the details. It's like, it needs to be correct. It needs the facts and the information needs to be on point and maybe perhaps quite specific. So yeah, there can even be a very specific way that you do express yourself. Now, we then want to think about all this Leo, right? Let's firstly think of Mercury. So Mercury is how we think. It's the way we communicate our thoughts as well. So whilst, yes, you can express yourself like this rather polite, matter-of-fact, detail-oriented, analytical person, there's also a lot of fire that comes out. there's fun. There's a sort of playfulness to you. There's an aliveness. There's a confidence. There's a wow. You could very well be known amongst your friends, amongst your, the people that you run in social circles with, as being just charismatic and just knowing what to say, in these moments when, perhaps you're complimenting others, right? There's a compliment that comes into it. There's an ability to cheer people on. It's almost as if you can just, you can inspire others. You can really boost them up, boost their ego up, okay? But you see, with your sun in Virgo, you're still going to be somewhat humble. You've also got a Virgo rising. Let's just say that as well. So you're still going to be rather humble. And if you can even notice, this could be within you, this could be within social situations. If you notice people behaving in pompous ways, pretentious ways, look at me, look at me, look at me, like really highly attention-seeking ways, you can sort of observe that, maybe judge it a little bit and be like, that's a bit much. So it's that kind of balance though at the same time, because there's also a part of you, I think, that can just as much just go, right, step into the spotlight. I'm shining. It's time to shine. Okay. But then it's also about your encouragement of other people to do that. I think the way you may even approach sort of these social situations is by wanting to spread your warmth and your love and your appreciation. I think you're someone who, you're not afraid of just telling people, like, I really love you, or I really care about you, or I like this about you. Oh, I was listening to this thing that you did. Oh, I wanted to share it, right? Because Venus is about love. And so with Venus conjunct Mercury, what's that? It's the love that comes via your voice. It's that appreciation that you share with others, being able to verbalize that, to be open, and to possibly even be very generous with your words, right? There's no end to it. Maybe you even see it as, do you know what? Like, why would I want to stop like doing that? Why would I want to stop being so complimentary towards other people? It's just how that's what I feel in that moment, that kind of thing. Even throw into the mix a little bit of the moon and a little bit of the moon in Libra with the sextile. So you can also charm people. But I think that it's your feelings, right? Your feelings with the moon. If you feel that call to, that inspiration to compliment, to share your warmth with others and your generosity, then there's also that charm that's going to come through. But at the same time, there's a healthy bit of balance here. I think you do care about healthy give and take. I think you do kind of recognize whenever things are feeling a little bit off balance when it comes to relating to your friends and everything. And then lastly, Mars. So the way I even have come to see Mars is that Mars is the driving force behind what we do. It's the very thing that pushes us to want to express or to want to say something. It's that planet of motivation. It's that planet of drive. There's a lot of willpower in Mars. So your willpower, I think, is more so strong, and your drive and your motivations are strong whenever you are around people, right? 11th house stuff. When you're around people who actually bring you joy, like you feel lit up when you're around them. I think you care so much about genuine, authentic relationships, especially with Venus being in Leo. But you're also going to be attracted, perhaps even sexually speaking, really attracted to people who are like this, to people who are confident, to people who know themselves and they're confident in their own skin. So yeah, that is yours. I just wanted to go through. And just lastly, I feel the need to say, I switched it to the Placidus system. So the whole sign system could maybe show this in different ways, which I could explain, but hey, it's just this way at the minute. But I hope that you find that to be helpful. Thank you so much. Okay, right. So I hope, Ari, that you enjoyed it. Let's move on to then, lastly, Claudia. Lastly, we've got Claudia. Let's do this. Thank you for being here this evening, everyone. It has been great being here for about 3 hours today. So yeah, it's been a great session. It's been nice to interact with you and to talk about your charts. And if anything, I just hope that you have benefited from your readings. And if you are interested in booking a reading with me, a much longer, thorough reading, then you can visit my website, hannahselsewhere.com. Thank you. So let's see. Times. Let's see. Okay, where is that? Okay, that's in Germany. Got it. (26 November 1994). Okay, Claudia. Brilliant. So, Claudia, this is your first time reading. Wow, awesome. Thank you so much for being here. Are you still with us? Sorry, Claudia. I just need to take a drink of water a moment. Got you. Okay, you're back. You're back. Okay, awesome. Let me see. I was wanting to ask you then, Claudia, do you have a question or anything? Or do you want me to just kind of give you more of a general overview of your chart because it's your first one, or? Okay, got it. Got it. Let's have a look. That's so funny. I'm going to say it, but saying about so true and then very lucky. Sagittarius over there. Sagittarius, Sun and Sag. Okay. And the reason why I'm saying that is because Sagittarius is connected to luck, right? Jupiter ruled luck. All right. So let's have a look at yours now. Okay. So let's think then about your big three, because this is your first reading. So we're going to try and just, focus on a couple of these important parts, and then we'll try and see what else we can grab here. So you've got an Aries rising. Now, the thing about the rising sign is that it's so much about our identity. So when you move out into the world, right, as you're kind of going about your day, meeting new people, heading into new situations, your rising sign is like, hello. Okay, so with your Aries rising, it could very well be that when it comes to the life out there, you can be fast, right? A fast walker. You can even appear at times as if like maybe you're grumpy. That is something that I've noticed with Aries risings. It can appear like you're grumpy, or it can appear that like you're in your own lane, right? You're in your own lane and you're just focused and you're just going straight. And the peripheral vision stuff's like, no, all of that is background noise. You just focus on yourself. But the thing about it is that you can also then come across as very passionate and active. You could be a very active individual. And also, hey, Aries risings can also be highly generous and loving and affectionate. So perhaps you give off these types of traits whenever you are meeting new people, whenever you're in new situations. But then the other thing about it is we want to think about Mars. So Mars is the chart ruler. And Mars is going to tell us more about that Aries rising because Mars rules Aries. Mars is in Leo and it's in the 5th house. So there's also a big part of your personality, I think, that can be quite wild. And also, hey, I'm here, I have arrived. You could have a very big personality in this way. Now, there's more to this. Stay with me. There is more to this. But just whenever we look at these certain planets, we're seeing just how you can come across as the life of the party at times, or as very fun, playful, possibly quite flirtatious, right? Quite flirty. But also, I would say, there can be times when you appear quite serious, right? They're mess with me, don't get in my way. I'm trying to focus on myself here. And I also think a big part of this is that when it comes to romantic relationships, right, 5th house stuff, you really value loyalty and authenticity. And you may also value independence in others. Plus, when it comes to your hobbies and, forms of enjoyment, things that you do during your spare time with the 5th house stuff, you also you like what you like, basically. And it's more so about, I'm doing this, I love it. It's something that fills me up with passion. Maybe it involves, right? So your hobbies involve something like drama, performance, singing, and being really like artistic, right? They could literally be painting or, doing some sort of crafts, or it could also be fitness, right? Working on your fitness or exercise, these types of things. Now, we also want to think about the sun. So the sun then is the ruler of the 5th, and it's also a big part of your personality. So then the sun is our light. The sun is our self-expression. So what people also really get whenever you're really like sharing and you're, starting to express yourself with others, it's this Sagittarius energy. It's the positivity. It's the constant just generosity. It's the fun, jovial, like your ability to be like funny and laughable with others, but also your ability to be intellectual and to get into a big discussion and to seek information and knowledge from other people. You have so much that you want to learn about and so much that you want to research, and possibly as well, we're noticing travel being a big thing for you, or just doing things that are outside of your comfort zone, right? You may be big on just having that freedom, having the freedom and the space to roam and to do your own thing. We see this as well with all of these fire signs being activated in your chart. Okay, because fire is so much about our creative spirit. Now, the moon. The moon is in Virgo. So underneath, right? So we think about your inner world, your emotional world, the matters that are more sort of sensitive and very personal to you. These things are more so about, okay, I have my own way of doing things. I have my particular way of doing things. I don't like them being disrupted. I will disrupt them or change them rather. I'll change them when I need to, when I have to, but it still makes me feel uncomfortable when anything happens that I haven't prepared for. Even the sun and moon are making a square, so there could even be a little bit of a challenge here to do with what you want, right? So there's the want part of it with Sagittarius, of exploring and getting out there and everything. But then there's also what you need. There's that tension between what you want and what you need. And what you need perhaps can conflict against what you want. Maybe the needing part is you need routine. You need a good schedule, like a schedule to sort of follow in a way to keep you maybe a little bit more settled and secure, right? You maybe need to make sure that you're taking care of your health, making sure that you're eating enough, or that you're attending to, your nutrition in a way where you're feeling good, thinking about your exercise, just health in general, sleeping patterns, all these types of things. We are noticing then potential challenges with such things because Moon is opposing Saturn. So we could see here potentialities of, sleep disruption, sleep deprivation. Actually, the other thing about this is, you are going through your Saturn return. So maybe these things have really started to come up, like matters to do with health. Health, I think, is a big theme for you, especially with Chiron also being there in the 6th house. Maybe attending or addressing any workaholic tendencies or perfectionist tendencies. There could be some complications here with being a perfectionist, right? Compulsive, perhaps, tendencies as well. Even just to finish this off, all the Scorpio energy. Right? So we've been saying about, all this kind of wow out there, being maybe a bit more extroverted at times, it seems, above the surface. But like beneath the surface, there's so much heavier stuff going on. There's a lot of depth, there's a lot of intensity, there's much to unravel there. And there's not enough time for me to go through every single planet in that 8th house. But just to give you sort of a general overview of that, Scorpio in the 8th house, very much just feeling all the feels. Very, very intense about just the past, other people's stuff, taking things in very deeply, very personally. Okay. So there is that. So all of this is to say that you also possess a huge part of you. Like there's a big part of you that prefers to keep things private. It's like, this is my stuff. This is very intense stuff, profound stuff. And perhaps that, that emotional stuff, these things you've been perhaps working throughout your life. Okay, Claudia. No, I wish I could have went into more detail about that, but there's only so much time. But happy first reading. Happy first reading. I hope that you find it to be helpful. Thank you so much. Everyone, we're pretty much at 3 hours, and that is everybody. We've done everyone. Yeah, thank you all. Before I go, just a reminder, Clara, you say you always decide that on your own terms. Ooh, very interesting. Yep. Perhaps trust is a big, big important thing for you, vulnerability, all that stuff. Well, okay. So just to let you know that I have released a podcast. It has been a long time coming. It has. I'm so excited about it. It's called Cosmic Check-In Podcast. You can find it over on Spotify. The link is in the description. The link is also on my YouTube somewhere. I hope you can tune in. It would be awesome for you to tune in, listen along, and it's something that I want to pour a lot of love into, and I'm so excited about it. It's going to be awesome. So yeah, just to let you know. But that is us, everyone. Thank you. And yes, thank you so much, Claudia. Thank you, Edyard, for all of your input and for chatting along as well. Thank you so much. Brilliant. And thank you to everyone who booked today. And I'm going to keep this video up for those of you who want to read through or listen to your reading again. Oh, awesome. Stefalino, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Awesome. You've been picking up some tips. Great. And you're also a practicing astrologer. Exciting. Okay. Thank you, Edyard. Thank you. That's definitely me. Sundays, I think, could be a promising day for this because I think with the weekend, people are more, you're maybe a bit more in high spirits, or you have that time to tune in, to watch along. There's greater availability on the weekend. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a great rest. Have a great week. Have a great week ahead.